The grid is a physical thing, our power grid. It's a set of wires. And because we decided at some point in our history that we didn't want to have competing sets of wires all over our landscape, we decided we would have effectively a monopoly. And so utilities exist in a regulatory structure that's unusual for businesses. From CUB's perspective, what are the most effective strategies for ensuring that policy decisions here are good for residential consumers?
In fact, on a lot of the policy drivers, I think Illinois is a good example. It's similar to Ohio in that there's a lot of different ways to engage in policy. So I think it's a broad question. How we do it probably depends on the topic and precisely what we're trying to influence. So if we start with where I think a lot of those policy drivers are going, which is what's going to be the way that we pay for distribution utility service in the future because of the pressures, the things Janine identified that are putting pressure on them, what would be a successful way to engage in that is probably on a lot of different fronts. I mean, I think it's a legislative question. I think it's a regulatory question. I think it's a wholesale market question. So we're involved in a lot of aspects. We're heavily involved at PJM, which is the wholesale market, which takes the form of comments. And, we have I'm on the board of an organized consumer advocacy organization now that we have for work here in Illinois. A lot of it's done in front of the Commerce Commission, but a lot of it's also done through what would you say, I guess, the ongoing grassroots stakeholder meetings that we do. It's being engaged with the broader community because I think the challenges that she identified are drawing together a lot of new players, consumer advocates, environmental organizations, and others. So a lot of the policy we do in part is trying to get to, think outside the box, out to groups outside of the box that maybe haven't traditionally been engaged and see what their perspectives are.
What are the changes that are on the horizon that are coming, and over what time period do you think they're going to show up?
I think the utility industry is in an evolutionary period. And I think that what we're seeing in some areas is somewhat of a customer revolution where customers are taking more control over their energy usage, whereas we used to be pretty much beholden to a centralized utility system that delivered energy to customers. We're now seeing customers engaging in energy efficiency, demand response, and also, constructing PV facilities on their rooftops, thereby controlling more of their energy usage. So this is a big change, and I think that the availability of storage, as we've seen like with the Tesla batteries, that's going to be a real game changer if customers can start to store some of the solar power that they're generating during the day for use during off-peak periods.